Hey, what's up guys? So as you know, patch 106 dropped like a couple of days ago and brought some significant changes with it, especially to weapon damage. So I had to pretty much redo all the testing that I've been doing for the past week or so, just to clarify some things and see if anything changed from the previous patch. Now the two major changes that happened is the decreased difficulty of Insanity and some weapon damage adjustments here and there. Not all the weapons in Mass Effect Andromeda received buffs within the last patch, and some of the changes only applied to multiplayer, but nonetheless I had to redo everything I've done just to make sure. So the past couple of days I did just that. I went over each and every single weapon in Mass Effect Andromeda except for the sniper rifles. I'm going to have to make a separate video for that because the testing methodology needs to be changed. Unfortunately, sniper rifles, if you use them unscoped, they lose a significant chunk of damage, so the best testing with them would be to use the scopes they have. But nonetheless, let's move on to the results. I have all the graphs set up over here and let's go over them. So starting off with the shotguns, on the right side of the screen we have the results for the previous patch, which was 105, and on the left side of the screen we have the results for the latest patch, which is 106. So as you can see here, the first 5 spots are pretty much unchanged. The same order that was in the previous patch is now in this patch. The only difference is the DPS. So as you can see, the shotguns now require significantly less time to kill an enemy, and that is a combination of the buffs these weapons received and the fact that Insanity difficulty has been in general nerfed. But nonetheless, starting off with Piranha, the DPS has been massively buffed. It now requires a little over 2 seconds to kill the A-Rock, and that is one of the toughest enemies in Mass Effect Andromeda, and the fact that you only require 2 seconds to kill it is absolutely astounding. The Dawn shotgun also received a significant buff, so it now only takes 3 seconds to kill it. Hash has come really close to Dan with the latest buffs and with the latest patch. In the previous patch there was a full second between these two, but now they are closer to each other than ever. Disciple and Rigor are pretty much in the same positions as before. They are now just closer to one another, so only 1 second difference between them. Katana is pretty much right in the middle, even though it received some good buffs, and the only slight difference that we can see here is in regards of the Rosette and the Crusader shotgun. Now the difference between these two being so insignificant makes me think that this might be a testing fluke, but still these weapons are so close to each other. I think they should both be put on the same spot. The difference is honestly not that big. Scattershot and Venom unfortunately are still the worst. If you're going for a weapon-centric build, you will never consider these two. They still take over 10 seconds to kill an enemy. Scattershot here would be the one that I would use for the Biotic God build, but that is basically it. Moving on to pistols, the same story, not much changed in regards of the first 3 spots. So the Usher is still the top dog, Sidewinder right behind it, and Eagle is still on the 3rd spot. Talon is on the 4th spot, stealing it from the Hornet in the previous patch. Equalizer is on the 5th, Hornet is now on the 6th spot. It pretty much dropped from the 4th, unfortunately. Hurricane, even though it received some buffs, it just couldn't pull ahead on anything else, and the entire lower half of the pistol category is something that I wouldn't even consider on Insanity. It just takes too long to kill an enemy with these guns. So now going over the assault rifles, this is where the most changes happened. Assault rifles desperately needed a buff, and I'm glad that BioWare listened to the community. Assault rifles are finally viable for Insanity, especially with the nerf it received and with the buffs that assault rifles themselves received. But I think this category is the one in which the most changes happened, especially in regards of the order of the DPS. Nonetheless, Thoken is still the top dog here. It received some significant buffs. It's still the first place over here. A full 3 seconds difference between the previous patch, and the fact that you can kill an enemy in 5 seconds with an assault rifle, in my opinion, is absolutely amazing. Sweeper and Falcon are very close to each other. Unfortunately, Valkyr and Zoned, even though they had the 2nd and 3rd place in the previous patch, pretty much fell down 2 places each. So Sweeper and Falcon actually are so close to each other, I would honestly put them on the same spot on the 2nd place. The difference between them is less than a fraction of a second. It's just too small, and I believe that depending on the testing methodology, you're going to see slight difference between them, but still, I'm glad that I see first 3 spots taken by such different assault rifles. I'm really sad to see Valkyrie drop so much, but it's still a significant buff from the previous patch. So there's a full 5 seconds difference in DPS and time to kill between Valkyrie in 106 and Valkyrie in 105. Sound pretty much as well, it received a major buff. It took over 11 seconds to kill anything in patch 105, and now it takes barely 7 seconds. So you can finally make a viable build for Sound, which is my favorite assault rifles in the game. And now I know that a lot of you are wondering what's happening with the latest assault rifle that has been introduced in the previous patch. So as you know, the X05 Ghost was the assault rifle that you would see in the cutscenes, and now BioWare finally introduced it and you can finally use it in the game. Unfortunately, it's pretty mediocre. It's on the 6th spot on the assault rifle damage list. One thing that I noticed with it is the fact that it has a huge accuracy. You can pretty much have a perfect aim with this one. That is one of its biggest advantage. Unfortunately, it just falls short in comparison with other weapons, especially the first 3 ones. So all in all, I wouldn't say that Ghost is really that great. I wasn't really surprised about this, given the fact that it doesn't have such a high damage per bullet to begin with. It's okay, but still not that great, at least compared to other better weapons out there and with the testing that I've been doing. Revenant is pretty much on the same spot as before. Cyclone, Avenger, Paw, and Zalkin are just weapons that I wouldn't even use on Insanity. They just take too much to kill enemies, and as I've said, given the fact that now Insanity has been drastically nerfed, I would honestly not consider anything over the first 4 or 5 spots in each category to kill enemies. As for sniper rifles, you probably noticed that I didn't include them in this video. Reason being is that they require a different testing methodology and the previous video that I've made on them was flawed. Unfortunately, sniper rifles lose a significant chunk of damage when you use them unscoped, so the best course of action to use a sniper rifle would be to scope them and aim for the weak parts or the headshot. So all in all, that was the testing. These are the results for the latest patch, which is 106. I'm glad to see that most of my favorite weapons pretty much retained their position that they had before. So all in all, not much change in regards of the top dogs in each category. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys found it informative, and I will see you guys next time.
Tyler Durden, make them holler murder. Take them to the highest point of the earth, no need to follow further. The shit is universal, no time to do rehearsal. I never take a break, that shit is too commercial. I wasn't raised different, I was made different. Flow don't fuck around like it was raised Christian.